Welcome back to the sesh. I'm Fabian.
Con.
I'm Emily.
Joking. Emily now. Changed hair,
A
everything.
replacement. I'm joking.
A replacement for the week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what are we talking about this week?
Today's episode is about my event, briefly, and music industry.
All right. Well, let's kick it off. What is your event?
My event is a drum and bass event which is being hosted on the 25th of April. It's been hosted by me. I'll be emceeing, also DJing, bringing two big headliners also, and a few DJs alongside with me. So students are free, so the ticket link is on the Selectors Instagram page. Students free, but then it's £6 on the schedule for public ticket.
Damn.
Is it age rated? Like
18 plus.
How did you set this up? What made you go, I want to make a drum and bass event?
So aside of I struggle getting gigs a lot, especially DJing, MCing. I've only really MC'd once properly. So I wanted to give myself an opportunity and other people an opportunity to play some tunes out. So I started off this event. The venue was kind of just the easiest one, to get because it was so for students and it's after the dissertation as well, the date. So it's everyone would want to go out. So yeah, I just wanted people just to have more of an experience and network more with different DJs because I have a few which are around the country as well. So
There's quite a few people at the uni who do DJing as well, but there's not a whole lot of option during the courses to be able to DJ.
yeah, I feel like there should be more. I don't know if they've decided to do it, but I remember last year, this current first year, they was going to have electronic music course. I don't know if they've actually gone through with that.
That's cool.
But I'm I wish that was there when I started, because I've always produced, and I think it would just give more opportunities for people producing electronic music and DJing.
Yeah, fair enough. I feel like that's really niche as well, especially here. Don't really get. I feel like you're the only person I know who does drum and bass music sort of thing.
Well, I know there's someone else in our class that also does DJing.
Who's on?
Ethan.
Oh, is it?
Oh.
Well,
Well,
I did not know that, but I know that was his main thing. So our assessment in first year, when we had to do a performance, and he did DJing for the performance because that was his main thing. So he did that. But I'm glad they're changing the courses altogether because you can't do performance on its own. When we started at uni, there was performance, but you had to do it with production. You couldn't just do performance, and I was like, I don't like production. I'm not good at production. I want to do the performance, but there wasn't just performance, so I had to go in with the production as well.
There's not much production going on though. I've never really made a beat or anything actually in lecture.
There's not much performance either.
Yeah.
It's a performance course. We had one performance module in first year and a performance module in second year, and the one in second year was an optional module. For a performance course, I don't think it should have been an optional module.
yeah, I feel like there are some odd choices with the courses. I remember I was a songwriting student in first year, and one of our lectures was live performance. And I was like, what are we doing here? And they had me on drums. I had not picked up a drumstick in my life. I'm like, what am I doing on the drums right now? It was perplexing. It was something. I feel like there needed to be more modules to do with songwriting, maybe.
I think they just don't care. They just stick anyone on anything.
But I think that there's a difference between learning how to play an instrument on a course and your course not even being about playing instruments.
Remember the marketing students or something? The music marketing students. Why were they doing production? They showed up to one of our production lessons. So I'm like, do you know why you're here? And they were like, no.
Media students coming and doing a Pro Tools module, and where they're we've already had an introduction to Pro Tools module. We've learned how to do Pro Tools for a whole year, and now second year we're going in and writing something, and these media students have never seen Pro Tools before. never been in a studio, and now they're suddenly like having to work with it and write music.
It just seems messy,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
It's very thrown in the deep end. Like, good luck. On you go. But you do a different course to us. So we
I
do
do.
performance, but you don't do performance.
I don't. I do audio and music production, which is
So-
just a whole lot of everything, really. I don't really like every time someone's like, "Oh, what do you do on your course?" I'm like, I do it all. It would seem like I've gone from like doing live music, performance, and like production behind the scenes. I've done film post and pre-production. I've done mixing and mastering and studio work. Like I don't know. I'm just here for a good time, not a long time.
Like, your production stuff is more in-depth than our production.
Yeah.
Ours is very,
Which makes
very
sense.
basic, which is fine, except that when we're doing the same module and we're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have used this studio like twice. Like, I think I can use confidently Studio 3 and Studio 1. Studio 2, I can just about turn it on.
I love Studio 2, and then they changed it, and now I'm just scared to be
To the analog one.
to the analog.
I am very scared of the studio. I am so scared of just doing something wrong and breaking
Literally.
equipment that I'm like, I'm happy not touching it. I will put Studio 1 that I know how to use.
I'm scared of Studio One. I feel like I'm gonna blow the speakers.
Literally. I'm alright with Studio 1 now. I think Studio 2 I'm okay with, but if I can't figure something out, then I'm like, well, see you in 3 hours when I may have figured it out, or I'm leaving empty-handed with no work done.
When I used Studio 2 last year, I would always go up to the third year students and be like, you know how to use the studio. Could you come and help me do this thing? I don't know what I'm doing. Please just show me what I'm doing.
I think my favorite thing was finding a third year and being like, help, and then they come and they don't know what the problem is either.
Yeah.
So I'm like, validation. I'm not stupid.
Studio 2 was only added, like, changed last year though, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I guess they kind of did only have it for the same amount of time as us.
Yeah.
So, I think the people in the year above us were just kind of more knowledgeable in general.
Yeah. I don't have that amount of brain cells to be honest to be on that level. Even as a third year student now, I don't think I'd compare.
As a third year student, I don't feel like I should be in third year. I feel like
Yeah.
I don't know how I've got here. I'm in third year, and I'm so close to graduating, and I'm like, I don't understand how I'm nearly graduating.
I agree with that, to be honest. I don't know. I feel like I don't even know what's going on half the time. I kind of just show up to my lectures, 3 hours go by, and I'm like, all right.
I still don't know how to use Pro Tools.
No, Pro Tools is a mystery. I have a Pro Tools at home as well now, and I Google so much on how to use it, and I'm like trying to like, I'll click this. How do I do this? Google. No, still very much confused. I will just leave it, and then I come and ask you questions because I'm like, you do audio. I do not do audio.
Fair enough. I feel like for me, Pro Tools, I'm fine with Pro Tools. It's just remembering all the commands. Like every time I show up to the session, I'm like, right, I've forgotten every single command. So,
I don't mind not knowing the shortcuts. I will happily go the long way around it if it means I can do it, you know?
that's valid. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But
Because Windows and Mac have different shortcuts as well.
yeah.
And
Yes.
I don't have a Mac. So I come onto Mac and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. You scroll up and it goes down, and you scroll down and it goes up. I'm like, what? Why? Why is Mac? Why is it confusing?
No clue. That off topic, but one of our lecturers, Brett, he showed me. Did you know on like MacBooks, like if you use 3 fingers and you like scroll up, then you can like have different desktops, and you can like choose a desktop, and you can put different windows on the desktop, and you can like scroll between them
Where
with
it
3
shows
fingers.
multiple screens.
Yeah.
You can do that on Chrome and
No, you
everything else
can't.
too.
No, you can't. Stop.
You
Don't
can.
deny it.
Every laptop you can do that.
No.
Yeah, yeah, you can.
Was anyone going to tell me?
Did you not know?
No.
My laptop has a button for it, so I don't have to do multiple fingers. I just press one
Oh.
button, and it shows me all of the windows open, and then I can select it that way as well.
I'm upset. Right, back on topic.
Back on the music. Yeah, I'm glad they're changing the way the music courses are laid out. Like auditions.
Just I'm so I keep hearing tapping. It's my earring. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Oh, it's fine.
But yeah, auditions. I feel like auditions should happen for music courses.
100%.
Because why do we not have an audition to get on to the course?
I do agree with that. Though I feel like, in my case, if there was an audition, I might not be here because I'm lazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
If I hear there's an audition, I'm like, I
but you don't do performance.
Oh yeah.
I
That's
think
true.
it's like the performance courses especially should have auditions.
As well.
Because like you audition for performance courses in college and other unis you have to do auditions. You go to do a master's, you're doing an audition.
Yeah.
So our uni not doing auditions is very confusing.
Yeah, I think so too. And like, even if you try and give these people constructive criticism, a lot of people cannot take it. I've noticed that.
100%. Yeah.
Like, oh, if someone misses a note and you're like, oh, you need to re-record this because that note wasn't hit, they'll just blow up, you know?
Really.
Yeah.
I feel like if someone told me that, well, actually, that has happened. That someone's told me that, and I'm like, right, I'll give it a try. Because at the end of the day, it's not like, they're pointing things out to, get on your nerves. Like, you're working together to make, the best piece that you possibly can.
Like, I've heard it from a few people that have gone into studio sessions with, can I say years? With second years and recorded something, and they've given this person like constructive criticism, and they just cannot take it, and they'll just keep the recording that doesn't sound good. And like, how are you not embarrassed to release that? You know what I mean? If it doesn't sound good, why are you in denial about it?
Yeah.
Like, I get it's a course, you're here to learn that. There are definitely some people who join the course and they do get better, like throughout first year, throughout second year, and they do improve on their skills. Even our year, there's some people who, from when they've joined the course to now, have improved so much in their musical talent. Like, even me, like, my ability performing from when I started to now has improved. But I think, like, if you're not gonna take on those opinions and you're not gonna, like, try to work to improve yourself, then you need to change the way that you're looking at the course a bit.
It's like, I feel like people will just walk around like they're famous, like in their head they're famous, but they're not. They're like at the bottom of the food chain. And I feel like that's why they don't want to listen to other people, which is kind of frustrating, especially like for me if I'm trying to get someone like a gig, and you know what, like, I've seen inconsistency in a lot of stuff, and I've communicated that very clearly, like day by day. I needed something and I didn't get it. I'd say like, okay, I can't work with you anymore, but stay around because there might be another opportunity. And yeah, someone let you know.
Having the motivation as well, because I joined a band in my first year, and I don't play with any of the bands that I've been in now at university, but a lot of them you would like turn up to rehearsal and you've got people showing up late, or you have people that don't turn up, or you have people that will turn up and then not do anything, and you're like, what are we supposed to be doing if you're not gonna like join in?
Like, you call them out on their problem, and then they'll make it like it's your issue, and then they start insulting you, and you're like, well, hang on a minute, I'm helping you. You're supposed to be here. Like, the people just ruin their opportunities. Like, instead of going, thank you, okay, next time, whatever, but keep going and then insulting people, it's just, you're not helping yourself.
Yeah, literally. And it's like, some people, I guess they just don't realize how easy it is to squander like opportunities. Like, you know, number one rule of networking is to be a good person, be a decent person, communication sort of thing. Like if you fail at that, then people aren't going to reach out to you. People are going to talk to you, going to talk about you to other people. Like, oh, how's this person like? And they're going to be like, didn't have a good experience. And then that's just going to go around. And then, oh, suddenly, you know, no one really wants to contact you for anything. Sort of thing.
Especially at university, like a lot of the people you're at university with, you're going to be going into the music industry with them at the same time, at the same level. Nobody's like further ahead than like other people in the industry. If you're not going to be like working with the people that you're with actively, then you're not going to get anything like any benefits from it. So if you're not going to turn up and you're going to waste other people in your class's time or other people in the other year groups, then at the end of the day, like, it's not going to give you anything like a head start in the industry. You're just going to make it so that the people who you are entering the industry with not going to like you, and they're not going to want to work with you because you're not turning up, you're late, you don't work hard, you know. And a lot of the time it's like, well, what are you here for if you're not going to work with them, you know?
It's like me with like giving me people opportunities to do my event. It's like for people to get promotional clips and stuff, so in future, like they want to go to a different venue, they could be like, look, I've got this many people, can you let me do a set here? So it's like kind of just helping each other out, you know.
Even other courses, there's a lot of like people's issues in the university, and they're like, oh, well, we want these opportunities. And it's like, but you're not trying to get those opportunities. There's film students, they'll happily get like filming for you, whether you're a performer or anything. If you need a show reel, the film students are going to be happy to film you. They'll add to their portfolio while you're getting a show reel. And at the end of the day, you're going to help other people. If you're on other courses, just talk to the other courses.
And then I guess it's like some people don't realize that that's an option. I feel like not defending that, of course, but I guess sometimes I feel like for me in particular, I'm like, how do I reach out to these people? Like, I feel like my course is so disconnected from like so many other courses, if that makes sense. Like, it's difficult to reach out, but then if you don't ask the people around you, then you're not going to get that information, I guess.
But even if you're not like going to your lecturers and be like, hey, I want to do this, do you know anyone I can get in contact with?
Yeah.
The game students did it where they were making little posters and they're like, we need music for this game that we're making for our assessment. And so they were taking like little posters, like A5 size posters, just small, and they're putting them up around where music students have lectures. And because they're putting them up around the studios, music students are then seeing those posters going, oh, actually, I could write a song for this kind of game, and then they're contacting the gaming students.
Yeah.
Like, we're all of our lectures are in the same area. We're not a huge uni, so I think like for our sized uni, it's easier to collaborate than if it was like a bigger university.
That's true. It really comes down to a skill issue, doesn't it?
But just putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Just even if it's just like a plain bit of paper with your name on and go, please contact me for this. Just it doesn't need to be perfectly. You don't need expert graphics to try and get like contacts.
Fair point.
Do you have any issues?
Do I have any issues? What, just in general? Because I have loads. But
Around your course
around
or
my course.
uni?
I don't know. I don't really know.
You're kind of laid back.
Yeah, that's my problem. I think that's one of my problems, is my attitude. Not that I have a bad attitude. I feel like, okay, earlier when you were talking about the, I guess being on time thing, I feel like that was a call out for me
It
specifically.
wasn't, no. There's some people who will like turn up to a rehearsal session like an hour and a half into rehearsal and you're like,
Why?
we could not do anything without you.
Yeah, no, valid.
Yeah. We ended up getting a master student to play drums for us last year during our performance module because our drummer wasn't turning up or learning the songs. And so our lecturer was like, okay, cool, if you're not going to do that, I'm going to go and ask this master student, and our master student paid in our assessment. And we had to find a different role for our drummer because he was told by the lecturer, you're not playing drums because you've not learned anything. Because we can't turn up to rehearsal and go through our songs. There's only so much we can do rehearsal-wise, like without a drummer. So if we're turning up and all we've got is a guitarist, bass, and singers, we can try really hard to practice, but without a drummer, there's only so much like improvement we can make.
Yeah.
Especially when we're not doing like acoustic songs. If you're doing acoustic songs, you don't need a drummer as much. But if we're doing heavier songs, it's gonna be a lot harder, and you're not gonna be able to keep in time as much as if you've got a drummer either.
It's also writing auditions to make sure people are on time, not late.
I feel like you can tell a lot from people in auditions. Like you don't need a brilliant audition. You don't need a like perfect performance or like to be the best of the best. You've just got to have like I think the right attitude.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I feel like it always comes down to just attitude, how you carry yourself. Like if you show up and you're like, oh, I'm amazing or whatever, then they're gonna be like, right, they're a bit full of themselves.
Like people aren't just gonna work with you, and like that's the thing. Like with this uni not having auditions, is a lot of people have that mindset, and it's like you kind of need to be a little bit grounded because people aren't gonna want to work with you.
Exactly.
Like maybe some of the other students might want to work with them because students are trying to network with each other. But if they try and get someone that's outside of uni, they're not going to want to work with them. Like, and I feel like as soon as they leave here, or if someone's not very good at playing an instrument or singing, and all their friends are telling them that they're good when they're not good, and they leave, and they try and get an audition elsewhere or a gig, they're going to be criticised really bad.
Yeah.
Like probably sworn at or whatever, and that no one's prepared for that part of the industry because they're so used to their friends just being like, yeah, they're good.
I think that's one thing, like trying to get feedback for things and just going to friends is so much harder because your friends are going to want to be nice to you, and like especially if they're not like into the kind of music that you're trying to do, like they're not going to know how you can improve, or they're not going to want to hurt your feelings. And it's like, well, I'm going to you because I'm trusting you, but like if you just go to people you trust, they're not going to want to hurt you, like they're not going to hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I will go to people even if they don't understand. Like I've got some friends, they don't understand a single thing about music. They couldn't tell you what the chorus is. They cannot listen to a song and identify a single thing about it. And I'm like, you know what? The fact that you know nothing about music is kind of great because it means I can go with my music. And sure, a lot of things are going to sound good to you because you don't know anything. But it also gives them that unbiased opinion of if something doesn't sound right, if something sounds jarring or like slightly off, you don't need to know about music to be able to go, this doesn't sound right. I don't know what it is, and I can't tell you the exact thing that's wrong with it, but something isn't working.
Like, would you argue about going to people that you trust for an opinion could potentially ruin your music career because you would get disappointed in the long run?
If you only go to people you trust, I don't think it will ruin your career, but it will make it a lot harder because you're not gonna like, if you're sharing, like I get very self-conscious about the songs I write because I'm like, the things I write are quite personal, they're quite like meaningful to me, and if you're putting your music out there, you are putting yourself in a position where you are going to get judged, and there are going to be people that aren't going to like it, and I have a fear of like, if I do this, I don't want the hate to come back on me. But if I'm only ever showing it to people I trust and people who know that I've got this worry about it, then they're always going to try and be nice about it. And I'm not going to get like accurate opinions on what they actually think.
I feel like that's where the big ego comes from, though, because they're listening to people. And I feel so I'm just going to elaborate on my question about ruining careers, because they'll get like a big ego, then they'll go elsewhere, and then someone will be honest with them and say, you need improvements on this, that, and the other, but they've been fed all of these kind of lies that they then kind of lash out on the people that are professional.
And it kind of puts you into like a false security as well, I think. of like, oh well, everyone thinks I'm great, so I can send this to whoever, and they're gonna think it's great too. And it's like that's not the case. There's going to be people who don't like you. And like, it doesn't matter what you do. There's always going to be people that don't like you, either as a person or like what you do.
Yeah,
So
people will just pick it apart. It's just life. Like you're just gonna either continue with it or not. You know.
you're not going to be liked by everyone.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, going into it with a mindset of everyone's going to like what I'm doing, and your ego getting like to the point where you're like, I think I'm great, and I don't need to improve because there isn't anything I can do to be better than what I am already. And that's not going to be a case.
Yeah, I guess that's what, lecturers are here for. That's what, coursework is all about. You're putting, your best foot forward, and then they're coming back with, constructive criticism, things you can work on. It's just whether you choose to actually read that and take it into account or ignore it and move on. Because if you ignore it, then you're not really here to learn, sort of thing.
I think with assignments as well, like you get given the marking criteria, you know what you're going to be marked against, and you can still make something and go, well, I think this sounds good. And if you're not meeting the criteria, then it's like, well, you're going to lose marks for that as well. So a lot of the time it could be, well, you're missing this in the criteria, but it's not actually telling you how to improve your music as like music as a general thing.
I see, right.
Like if somebody goes, I need you to make this kind of song, it's got to be structured like this. I need you to include this many tracks. Like if you're a singer-songwriter, you like play guitar, or it's just you, your one instrument and your voice. You're gonna struggle to write a song for an assignment that's going. You need to have at least 8 tracks. You need to have this kind of drums. You need to have like this length and it needs to be in this style. It's going to be a lot harder for you to reach like what's expected, and so your feedback, if you don't meet every criteria of what's expected, is going to always be more pointed towards the assignment and not actually your music.
That's a good point.
Because I feel like I could write music really well for one instrument and my voice, because that's what I do. I'm like, if someone goes to me, I need to make a like D&B track, or I'm not even gonna know where to start,
Well, of course you do.
But if someone went to you, okay, you need to sit down, you need to write a soft, like, folk song, you're not going to be able to do it, are you? And so, like, I think that's, like, the hardest part with assignments is how do you go, this is the techniques we need to see, and to do that we need to have this, and then still give you points to improve on that's around your music and not the assignment, because a lot of the time the feedback will be based on the assignment.
So are you kind of saying that coursework is kind of like a distraction from like the course you're trying to take career-wise?
I think it can make it harder, yeah, because you're going to focus more on how can I write to this thing rather than focusing on your creativity and what you're good at,
That's why I like our final semester modules, because 2 of them are practical based, and I think this is what we need throughout the 3 years, not just the last year where we're actually doing something productive.
Yeah, we have a module this final semester where we do have to like write an essay about performance, but you can choose any kind of performance thing. And we've had this module all the time. There's always been you write an essay about an area, and then you write a journal for like a reflective journal. So, for example, like I've wrote an essay before about how musical theatre is quite helpful to me as an autistic person, and how I can use musical theatre to help me understand like how to perform, because it's a lot more structured in this is how you need to behave on stage, rather than someone going, as a performer, you're on stage, instrument in your hand, go and perform, because then I'm like, I don't know how to have stage presence, whereas musical theatre, it's very directed. So I did an essay all around that, whereas this semester, you still have to write an essay, but you could do less words and more of a, like, submit a video and submit a practical thing and show something rather than having to sit and write about a topic. And I feel like creatively, that works better. because it's not going, you need to write this. It's more, you need to do something around performing and improving your performance of anything. You can choose any topic. As long as you're making an improvement from the beginning of the module to the end of the module, and that's what you're like documenting and like film, then they don't care what you submit.
Mm.
And I think that's going to be like, it gives you a lot more freedom.
Yeah, I think with the writing aspect in particular, I think it depends what is being written about. If it's a reflective piece, then, you know, I find that can be quite helpful to, you know, trying to pinpoint, you know, where you succeeded, where you failed. But then there's some written components where I guess you can feel it's a bit, I guess, irrelevant. I don't know if irrelevant is the right word, but it feels like you're writing it and you're not quite sure how you can take this into, you know, what you want to do in
Yeah.
the future, sort of thing. So I think it just depends what kind of task you get, I guess. If that made sense. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think like the courses, there's some of the modules are quite good at helping with your creativity, and some of them are just very restricting to like, it's so set on what you have to do that it doesn't give you the chance to explore yourself as an artist more.
Mm.
And that's why I put on this event, because I actually was really interested in like music events, but I didn't want to do it because I'm passionate about performing and production and stuff. So I wanted to put my passions actually in a business. So
Mm.
like, that's why I put it on. I feel like most of the modules feel like it's self-taught rather than actually learning something. Like, so of course I've like got the venue and stuff, but this is like my first event, so I understand that I'm gonna have mess ups because I don't really understand the industry yet.
Mm.
Like, I'm not an events student. So I understand that I'm gonna mess up, but at the same time, this is why I like doing it at the uni, because like this is just, if there's hiccups, it's okay, you know what I mean? But if I do it in like a major, like a venue outside of uni, if there's mess ups, and that could cause like genuine major problems, sort of.
Mm. Do you think you'd take this outside of just uni? Like, if this event goes well, would you want to do this again somewhere else, maybe?
So it already is, that's what I'm planning. So this selectors event is my business. So I've already got like another venue in mind after I leave here where I want to set it up.
I guess kind of like with doing it at uni and you like having that ability to fall back on it, and it's not going to be perfect because it's, you know, it's your first event, but there's no pressure for it to be perfect.
Mm.
And you've still got the people that, like, for one of our assessments where it's like, yes, we have to produce a song for an artist, and they encourage you working with an artist outside of uni, not other uni students, but you can record during that lecture time, so you've still got the lecturers there, you know, they're not there to record for you. But if you are recording with an artist and you do run into trouble with something to do with the setup, or like something's not quite working and you're not able to sort it, you've still got them as like a fallback. They're able to help you, like if something goes wrong, they might be able to help you sort the issue for you as well.
So we have like a little group chat going on with the DJs I'm using, and I have stated on them like it's not a jam night, just to put out that, even though it's with a different brand, but I feel like some people are going to get confused. So it's not a jam night. It's not a uni event because it's my event. It's just hosted at the uni. So like I put in like the chat, like, so there's like an actual contract which I've written out. So like for a residency spot, so residency means like if you do well and you meet the right criteria, it's like you can be guaranteed a spot to DJ at like pretty much every venue I go to, alongside bigger DJs I hire out. Like, is that the right word? So yeah, and this part will need to be edited. So I'm sorry. A waffle. There was a particular DJ I had on the lineup, and I got an email randomly the other day saying another DJ that I was going to book, he's changed hands now, so it's cheaper. So I had to kind of review all the other DJs. and one of the DJs wasn't promoting my event um, at all. Like, didn't really send me promotional clips, and literally didn't even follow the selectors account on Instagram. Like nothing. And like I put it in the chat every single day because it's not only me that manages the account, it's my boyfriend as well. So he's like been put in the chat like we need promotional clips. So it was at these people like every single day for the clips. And we was just getting nothing. So when we've now got this headliner DJ, and I'm like, okay, I kind of need to get this DJ off because I'm like, I don't want to give him my time if he's not cooperating with me. That makes sense. Like if he was, I would have taken myself out of the lineup, you know, because I'm not like that. I wouldn't just cut someone off for no reason. And I kind of sent him a message, and I was like, oh, like I'm sorry, but like you're terminated because like you're not promoting my event, blah blah blah. And he was really upset. Like, okay, I get that he was really upset, but then it kind of went to the insults. So that's why I kind of got frustrated for me because it's like, oh, why did you upload the poster, blah blah blah. Like, and I understand his point, like I've uploaded the poster, but things have changed, like it's so early on because it's in April. Everything is bound to change anyway, so I didn't expect this other guy to change hands with the manager.
Already put promotion out,
Yeah,
but
so,
it wasn't.
yeah, he was just not cooperating, which I was saying the obvious, if I give you an opportunity to perform at my event, why should I be the one to chase you to say you need to promote it? Should be self-explanatory, since the other DJs were doing it, and he follows the other DJs on Instagram, and they're posting it every single day. So I'm like, why isn't he?
It's kind of like taking for, like, using your events for their personal gain, but they're not gonna, you know, give you the same back.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I've reasoned, and then also I spoke to someone as well that had previously gave him gigs before, and everything you don't want in a DJ is what I heard. Like he didn't prep his sets until a few hours before the set, so when he when it was messy. So took his friends, and after he would only stay just for his set, then leave, wouldn't support the rest of the DJs, wouldn't say thank you, wouldn't even promote those events. So I was like, okay, that just like feeds onto what he was doing to my event. So I was like, it kind of just made it easier for me to be like, okay, these are the reasons, like whatever. And I don't want to be like he said, she said. So I didn't say about that. I just said to him, you haven't been promoting my event, blah blah blah, like sort of thing. Like I kind of like it's like I said, I kind of get why he's upset because he's been cut from that, but he needs to understand my reasoning that I said to like all of them every single day that I needed this, and it's a proper business. I never said it was a uni event. I made it clear that it wasn't. Made it clear it wasn't a jam night, and it's a proper business. So I'm like, you kind of need to respect that. And I could get him a gig elsewhere, but the fact he then just started insulting me, I was like, okay, I don't want to work with you. That's the reason. That's like comes back to like the criticism bit, because if in the real world, realistically, if I got rejected, I'd be like, okay, thank you for the opportunity, that was a good one, you know. But like then insulting someone is outrageous. So I was like, I just don't want someone like that on my lineup because I've spent a lot of money on this event, especially for these DJs, like well over like 500 quid, right? If I have a DJ come and he messes up his set, that's going to fall back on me. So I don't want that.
Yeah, and like bringing acts, you know, to basically represent you, you want to, you know, make sure that, you know, they're coming as prepared as you have, creating the event as a whole, sort of thing. Like, if, you know, they're unprepared, if they, you know, show up late, or, you know, they just, you know, it just seems like they don't have it all together, then, you know, you don't want to take that on. And especially if you've heard things about them before where, you know, it seems like it's a reoccurring pattern. Like, sure, you always want to give people a chance, but if they're showing no improvement, then it's like, you can't really help them if they can't help themselves.
It comes back to what we were talking about earlier with like artists' egos and having an ego about them where it's like, actually, it's more about me. I don't care. It's not about working collaboratively with people. And actually, like, creative industries, it is so much about collaboration, whether it's other performers or like people booking you. You know, you have to be willing to work with people in a fair way because it is gonna, like, for example, you saying that you spoke to other people you spoke with, it is gonna happen. And because it's such a small industry, that it's like everyone is going to talk to other people. If you're not going to work with people and you're going to be like quite like egotistical, other people are going to find out. Like even if they've never spoken to you before, they are going to speak to other people
Yeah,
that you have
facts.
worked with.
Exactly, because you want to know like who you're bringing with you to represent as a business, realistically, as well as the other people that you're getting on with. That's the same or DJing. But also, like this guy also sent screenshots of what I said about the message. And the thing is, I wasn't responding to him because I would have just gone around in circles and then it would have started to become unprofessional. And I don't want to be unprofessional. I've already said what I've said. I've stated my reasoning. I don't need to give any more. But then sending out screenshots to the other DJs also highlights you as a person. Because not only are you not taking criticism by insulting me, you're then sending messages to the other DJs being like, oh, thank you for having my back randomly, and also sending screenshots. Like, I'm not even the bad guy. You wasn't doing anything to help me out. Like, if I got put on the lineup, and I know you guys would know this, because you guys are performers, you would instantly promote it. Like, why are you not promoting anything?
But it's no when to take a step back from the situation as well. If they're going to try and get a rise out of you, then like it's got to get to a point where you just have to take a step back and go, you know what, like at the end of the day, I have done what I can, and if they're not willing to see that, they're not willing to see that. That's you're gonna have to take a step back from it anyway.
Like, he was spamming me with messages. I ended up just blocking him. Because I was like, I don't want to go around in circles. I don't want it to get unprofessional, but he keeps messaging me. I'm just going to block him.
Yeah, we've yapped on for a long time.
Yapped a lot.
Right, guys, that was a brilliant podcast.
That's okay.
It's fine. After what?
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Leave it off now. It's okay. But yes. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Your first podcast. Goes as well as always. I feel like there's always going to be something. The podcast has character.
Yeah.
I'm one of the characters.
Do you think you'd do a podcast again?
I think I will. It's quite fun.
Everyone comes on once and they're like, you know what? Actually, this was better than I was expecting it to be. Yeah. We're slowly collecting people.
That sounds dodgy. Right. We'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. See you next week.